question for us, John.
Welcome to Let's Talk Football, coming from the Swan IC Club. Today we speak with Coach Paul Lincoln and President Cos Cornelio. So, let's talk football.
Question for us, John.
Here's Aloisi for a place in the World Cup.
For us.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Football, and with me I've got Coach Paul Lincoln. Paul, can you give us a bit of a history of yourself in coaching as regards your coaching career?
Well, it's my first year in the state league level, but the previous 2 years I did the under-23s here at the club, and that's about all the coaching I've done.
And have you found it a big step up coming from the under-23s to the seniors?
Yeah, certainly has been. It's a different sort of step up. I thought doing the 2 years under 23s was a good apprenticeship for me, but obviously with the league side, there's a little bit more pressure. Obviously with the reserve side, there's no relegation, so you haven't got that fear. But when you're in the premiership, there's a fear there that you could get the club relegated. But we've started well this season, so that looks like we should be right for this year in that respect.
I was just going to say, you must be absolutely stoked with the start that you had to the season and basically the way you're carrying on throughout the season.
Yeah, it's a full credit to the players. They've been terrific this year. They've really responded well to the way I want them to play. And it's been a great start. We've got 15 points, which keeps us out of the danger zone. We've got some tough games ahead. There's still a long way to go, but look, we're looking for improvement from last season, and I think we've showed that this far, and hopefully we can continue that throughout the year.
What do you think has been the big change from last season? Because last season you struggled against basically just about every side, whereas this season, well, you've picked up your 4 wins and you're doing really good. So what's the big difference? What have you done that changed the whole psychic of the club around?
Well, I think I play a different shape to Carlo and Michael from last season, but really not much is different apart from the shape and the formation that I play. But I think we've had a little bit of luck this year. I think last year the boys suffered a few injuries. We lost a few key players, and there was suspension problems we had last season. This year I've sort of knuckled down on that area with regards to suspensions and just sort of changed the game plan, I think, a little bit, and made it a tougher environment. No one's going to guarantee a spot, and I think that might have been the difference from last year to this year.
Can you tell us who, in your opinion, have been your standout players? I know it's tough asking a coach to do that, but give us a couple of names of the lads that have really performed for you this season.
Well, it is a tough question. Look, I think every player contributes in their own way, but standout players for me this season's been, or if I start from Corey Hugo in goals, he's had a terrific start to the season. Aaron Cole's been, if not, I think he'd be leading the voting in the Player of the Year because he's had a tremendous season. In midfield, I've had young David Perich playing really well for us. Up front, Damien Scarley's been terrific. He's kicked 10 goals to date. And young Alex Hocking's been a breath of fresh air. The youngster's only 17 and he plays with lots of vibrance and enthusiasm and works really hard for us. But look, those are sort of the spine I've just mentioned. But look, on any given day, everyone contributes, and that's what we really need, to continue the way we're going. We need everyone participating.
What would you consider to be your style of football? In other words, what type of football are Swan playing?
Well, look, I like the boys to play football. I like the keeper to get it from out and play it outside the back. I don't like the keeper to kick the ball up the park, and it's like aerial ping pong. I want them to play football. I want players to, get forward when they can. I encourage my front players to take players on, but most of all, just to enjoy it. But just play football, play out from the back if we can. And at the end of the day, the players really need to work hard. And in the situation we have here with training 2 nights a week, there's not much really I can do. We don't get a lot of time. We're not full-time players, but at the end of the day, as long as they're enjoying it and working hard for each other, I'm pretty pleased with that.
Where would you hope to finish at the end of the season?
I've had that question asked from a few people. Look, I said at the start of the season our focus was to have a good home record. We haven't lost at home this season, so that's been real positive. I always said at the start of the season that we're looking for improvement. We wanted to improve from last season, which was 9. We wanted to improve on the goals we conceded last season, which was 61 against. And we've sort of reached our targets so far with that respect. But look, anything above the top 6, I'd really be pleased with.
Would you be hoping to get into this elusive top 4 that's going to be played at the end of the season?
I think every coach wants the top four. But look, I obviously I'd love that to happen for the club and the players and for myself. Look, realistically we can, and if we did, that's a terrific achievement. But I don't like to sort of go that far ahead. But if we finish sixth or better, I'd be happy. Top four would be a terrific effort.
Why do you think Fortress Francis Street is so hard to breach?
Well, I don't know. It's a good question. But that has been a real focus to really play well at home, and we didn't want clubs to come here and just, well, Swanner beats us 3 points. We've made this club, it's a sort of a fortress, and so far to date, hopefully it goes well today for us. But that's a good question. I don't really know why there's been a change over the last few years. Maybe it's the personnel, maybe it's just the way things are going. But at this stage, it's good, and it's a real priority to us to do well at home.
And would you be hoping that in, say, the couple of years to come, when the new Football West rules come into place, that Francis Street here would retain its current shape?
Yeah, you would think so. You'd like Swan. I haven't really given that much thought because I wasn't really aware of that. But yeah, look, hopefully for the club's sake that they, I think there's some other clubs like Forestfield and maybe they might have a say in the area. But I'm hoping that the club could maybe, if they needed to do some improvements to the facilities, that we'd be the club that would fit that criteria.
And finally, from a personal point of view, what are your hopes as regards your coaching career now? Do you want to go on to further, or are you quite happy with Swan?
I'm quite happy here at the moment, but obviously you never know what can happen in the future. I'm actually full-time employee for the Commonwealth Bank, so I don't have a lot of time to spend on coaching. But look, I just take it week at a time, and hopefully I can do well for the club.